All right, let's get into it then. Panasonic Air Conditioning, Sydney SuperNight. We've had the one and only practice session and some very interesting results, and we're throwing it to the team bosses today. So we've got Carl Foe, we've got Matt Stone, and we've got Jamie Whincup from their representative teams. Carl, ripping night at the racetrack for Walkinshaw and Andretti United. Did everything go to plan to finish up where you did, and did you get to work through everything you planned tonight?
We certainly worked through everything that we had planned tonight. It was just following the process. We did a couple of race runs with both cars. We're happy with the data that we got out of that, so the engineers will pour through that tonight. And then, yeah, one lap pace looks pretty good from both of our cars today.
If I think back to New Zealand, we had one of these 90-minute sessions, and you topped that one as well. So is it something that the engineering group likes about these longer practices?
I don't know if it's the engineering group or if it's the drivers. You know, I think they want to get over with them as soon as possible, and we just work through the program and see where we end up.
Been a little bit up and down. We saw great speed in New Zealand, and then a little drop off in Perth, and a little drop off in Darwin, and then back into it in Townsville. So is it encouraging to see back-to-back speed from one event to the next?
I think it is, but we've still got to have a look at what we do on the super soft tyre. That was the biggest thing for us in Darwin, and still a focus for us going forward to Tasmania.
Do you like having black cars?
Well, I think having a livery, especially for Mobile 1 in their 50th anniversary, and they look fantastic. If we can keep doing that each event, then it'd be great.
You may never change it back. We'll take it over to Matt. Ripping day for you guys as well. So you had one car in second with Nick, and then Cam's right there in fifth. So fair to say you guys have the second best package here so far. So talk us through your Friday.
Yeah, look, we just, much like Carl just ran through our program. A couple of shots at one lap pace and a few good race runs. Yeah, very happy with where we are with our cars. Pretty confident going into the rest of the weekend. Hopefully we can keep the momentum going. We have struggled a bit in qualifying consistency this year, so we'll put a big focus on that for tomorrow and see what we can do.
Copy that. I'm going to move it over to Jamie, and we'll get to our journos nice and quick here as well. So both cars in the 10, I suppose, is the story here, which is a step forward from Townsville. Do you feel like that was heading back in the right direction? It looked like a lot of changes going on in that garage in that 90 minutes.
Plenty of changes for us, for sure. Up and down. It's the same with the other guys. We got through our program, which was great. Sometimes you get to the end of practice and there's not enough tyres, so you don't know exactly where you're at. But I think the grid you see at the end of practice is pretty accurate to everyone's pace. So there's a few changes with tyre batches and things like that. But there was plenty of tyres being able to be run in that session, which is good. So tonight we can actually accurately see where we're at, and we're not quite the quickest, but we're there or thereabouts, which is nice.
Cool. Let's dive right into it. Got plenty of journos here tonight, so I'll leave the floor to them.
Jamie, based on...
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Cool. Based on how Townsville went, which wasn't Triple Eight's standard in 2024, what's the last 2 weeks looked like between then and now, kind of to try and turn things around?
It's business as usual. Of course, we didn't get the result we would have liked. We were actually pretty weak there the year before as well. We come up with all the answers after, what was it, 2022? 2023, and applied them to 24, but they didn't quite work. So we'll go back to the drawing board there for that round for next year. But it's a completely different racetrack. Same tyre, but completely different racetrack here. So that's more, we'll bench that work. It's a quick turnaround as well. It's only been 2 weeks, which is nice. So we'll bench most of that analysis for after this weekend.
And steering racks has been something that's been talked about a bit in the last kind of couple of weeks. I mean, you guys had obviously done a fair bit on the Sportec version. Do you feel comfortable that there might be a move to a Tickford kind of version coming up, or like what would your thoughts be on that?
There's been plenty of talk about steering racks, since Gen 3 introduction. I don't have shares in either. I just want the best product for the category. I like the fact that the Tickford rack is made by a charter holder and it's in-house, which is nice. But we've of course, we're on the program to try to get the most out of the Sportec rack for supercars. We made some gains, But obviously Tickford are doing the same thing as well. So that's it. That's a big discussion in commission land at the moment to work out what is the best rack, and once we establish that, work out when if there is a change, work out how and when it can be implemented if the Tickford rack proves to be better than the Sportec.
Have you guys had the Tickford rack and have you tested it?
We have tested it. We gave some feedback back to Tickford on how we think it could be better. They've made that improvement. They've run it again. So it seems like that product just keeps getting better and better and better. So if I was to take a guess, that rack will probably enter the category at some stage.
Matt, I mean, we've obviously got a tyre test going on outside. You guys were part of the first one on this development tyre. I mean, what did you guys have any insights into or any ideas?
Yeah, it was. Look, we were quite happy to be involved in that process, and we liked the tyre. It was different. It took a little bit to, a lot of thought to go into how supercars go with implementing it, but certainly our impression at Queensland Raceway was that it was much better at like the thermal sort of recovery, which is one of the big issues we have with the current tyre. So I think there's a gain there. But it was a cold day at Queensland Raceway, so it was hard to really get a gauge on how it performed deg-wise. Hence why they're trying to run around here and see what it's like at a higher deg circuit. So quite interested to see the results of this test that's going on now, and I'm sure that it'll give valuable data so supercars can make the right call for next year.
And just Carl, we saw in Townsville different strategies emerge. Do you feel like that's going to be a factor tomorrow night, that there will be people one stopping, two stopping, three stopping, whatever?
We're going racing. Of course, there's going to be different strategies. The best ones are where you can get 1, 2, or 3 stops, and they all converge on the last lap. That jeopardy that exists in motor racing is what we're all here for, and so I'm pretty sure we will.
Carl, by all accounts, you were reasonably influential in terms of getting Ryan Wood on board this year. I've heard that one of his first tests was where he really impressed you. What is it about Ryan, obviously he's delivered tonight, that you really see as special in him?
I think with any racing driver, speed is first and foremost. If you've got that and you've got the racing brain to go out there and take it to all the other drivers who are fast and got racing brains, then why shouldn't he have a shot on the grid? And I think it's sort of been proven with what we've seen so far this year.
How impressive is it that he's been able to do it so fast?
Well, I think that anyone that is an elite sportsman should be able to walk into their arena and do it pretty much straight up. I mean, let's not forget, he's done a really good job. He's 18 months into driving supercars of some form or other. He's yet to see the podium in the main game, and we're determined to see that happen this year.
Is his relative lack of experience perhaps a benefit for him? Like, he hasn't had to, I guess, go from the Gen 2 cars into Gen 3 and figure out Gen 3 from the start in maybe the same way that Chaz or some of the other drivers had?
No, not really. He did Super 2 in a Gen 2 car, so he's still had to have that transition. I think the level is, we all know the level is higher in the main game than Super 2, and as it should be. And that's where the cream rises to the top. He's booked his ticket to the main game, and you're seeing, so what he can really do and what we've seen of him for the last 18 months or more.
Sure. Which steering rack are you guys using? Are you using the Tickford rack at all?
We've used both over the course of the year.
Okay. And Matt, which rack are you using at the moment?
Currently, we've got one of each in our cars, and we've sampled the Tickford rack a little bit over the period, and we're a fan.
Brody in that session said that his steering rack was doing some goofy things. Have you experienced any issues with the Tickford rack at all?
Not with the Tickford rack. We didn't, performance-wise and driver feel, that there's not a huge variance between the two. But obviously Tickford rack's Australian-made, made by people within supercars, being Tickford, made to a standard I think we're much more accustomed to. And for me, I think the biggest driving factor is the reliability. In our experience with the Sportec rack, it performs okay, but it can have a unexpected failure that you can't really plan for. And the Tickford rack seems much more robust. So that's why we're a big fan of it, just so that you can go racing with confidence that your car's not going to hit a curb and have to come back in the pits for no reason.
Are you comfortable having the option to choose both, or do you feel like Supercars should maybe take a line in the sand and say this is the one that we're using?
I'd be happy to run. I'd be happy for people to run either if they had the choice. We certainly know what choice we would make, and we will make it as soon as we're allowed.
We're at the halfway point as far as rounds go this year. Matt Stone Racing's in the best possible position that it's been in a very long time. How good is it for you guys to be this far up the pit lane and I guess prove that it's not just a flash in the pan?
Yeah, absolutely. Like we try and every year one up the year before, and just keep sort of moving further and further up. And Gen 3 was a really good milestone for us, and it's good to go into the second year and be able to keep that momentum going, and really sort of establish ourselves on the grid and start trying to establish ourselves further up the pointy end of pit lane and see what we can achieve.
Carl, there's a pretty impressive list of drivers who have won races in their rookie year. Brock Feeney, Matt Payne, Scott McLaughlin, Chaz Mostert, Craig Lowndes. Can Ryan win in his rookie year?
Of course he can. We wouldn't have chosen him if we didn't think he could win. He's half season in, we've got half season to go, so I think you just got to watch him and see what happens.
Perfect. On that note, thank you guys. Enjoy dinner. Might see you back here tomorrow.
Thank you all.